Hey everybody, and welcome along to this week's edition of the Irish Golfer Podcast. Peter Finnan here, and joined as always by Ronan McNamara.
How are we?
I say as always, but we skipped a week last week. But
yeah, but when we do it, I'm always here.
Yeah, exactly.
So exactly. I was here last week.
Yeah,
I sat in the office waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm getting enough abuse about that. My own circle of friends or acquaintances, as they like to be called sometimes. Yeah, giving me abuse in no pod last week. But we're back. We're back again. Lots to chew the fat on this week. Lots going on in the world of golf. Like we missed. We'll briefly chat about, like, we're not going to talk about the Genesis or anything like that. It's a week old at this stage. But lots happened on tour since then. Some good stuff happening in Irish golf since then, ups and downs of different things. Before we get stuck into that, we'll give a shout out to Flowgas. Flowgas.ie, visit their website for all the latest deals on all your energy needs, be it for a personal need or a business need. Flowgas have everything there that you'll need. Package wise, Flowgas.ie. Like we say every week on the pod, they support golf so well, so definitely if you're up for renewal, they will do you a great deal. Just log on to their website, have a look at what they're offering, and support them back. So that's flowgas.ie. Right, where do we start? PGA Tour. You owe someone an apology.
I do.
Before we get in,
I don't even remember saying this, but yeah, Ludvig, sorry pal.
Sorry,
congratulations.
Pal. That doesn't cut the mustard. Sorry, pal.
Well, he's not here for me to look at him.
I'll get him on the blower here.
No, I was wrong.
Yeah, the poor man had he had a bit of a virus, and you basically said this man can't finish his dinner, can't close things off.
His records on Sundays were poor up until that point. That was the argument I was trying to make.
Okay.
I didn't say like he'll never win anything.
No, I know. I'm sure he accepts your apology.
I'm sure he does.
I'm sure he accepts it.
Sounded so sincere.
Yeah, no, it was a good event though, the Genesis. I enjoyed watching it. Like, it was great to see him in full flow. As we know he can. Like, he's such a baller. He really is. He's an all-rounder. Like,
he is that textbook person when you see a tweet on Twitter. It's like, oh look, I'm Ludvig Äberg. I get the ball 400 yards. All my clothes fit me perfectly. I have really white teeth. Grow up.
Yeah, I know.
It's one of those guys. Definitely one of those guys who was good at everything in school.
Oh, 100%. But no, it's like, where do we go from here? It was a serious win. He pulled away, and on the back of Dietrich doing what he has done, and McIlroy obviously winning, and bits like that. Like, you're wearing a Ryder Cup stuff today, so this is prompted me now. You're very topical. Europe 2023. Are we peaking too soon coming into this Ryder Cup, or is that a thing?
I wouldn't say we're peaking too. I know what you mean. I think we're not peaking too soon. I think we actually have so many options, whereas like 4 years ago, when the old guard kind of stepped aside after Whistling Straits, we were kind of looking, where are we going to get 12, 13, 14 players from to pick from? And like at the moment, I'd say almost 20 players to pick from now at this stage. Like, the Europeans have won four of the last 6 PGA Tour events now. And even like in the world rankings, there are 4 of the top 10 are Europeans, 5 of the top 11 are Europeans. Like, we're up there now with the Americans in terms of winning on tour. We're trending, and actually in terms of like holding our own in the world rankings.
Yeah, no, it's just when you see them all hitting form this time of the year, like, it bodes well for major season, and we're only around the corner from the Masters and stuff like that, and these lads will be up there. But there's a lot of Ryder Cup talk already starting off, already simmering, and it's hard to keep a handle on that.
Yeah, and I suppose going back to 2021, 2020 as it was, we were in such a great position like we are now. I think, like, I remember Lee Westwood was leading the race to Dubai, nearly won at Bay Hill, and then a year later, it's like so many of those guys who are in form, at a similar place to where we are now in the season, we're just completely off the boil.
I just can't see that happening though.
No.
Can you? With the players that we have, they're different individuals now. Like, these lads are, if anything, Ludwig is going to get better between now and the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, and it's all young players who are doing well, like, and there's so many options emerging. Like, we're not even talking about like a Matt Fitzpatrick. I forgot he played golf. When you look at the Ryder Cup,
TGL
when
now.
you look at the Ryder Cup rankings, you're like, geez, like Matty Fitz isn't even close to it at the moment. You've got like the two Hogards who could still both be there. Fleetwood as well, another man who kind of gone under the radar so far. You still have Torbjorn Olesen, Bobby McIntyre as well. Just loads of players who definitely all have a case of being there. And then Dietrich as well is the most obvious one to sort of emerge from the pack.
Did you hear Dietrich actually talking? He did an interview with Sky Sports last week. I think Jamie Weir got him on chat, and it might have appeared on their podcast as well, but I listened to it last week. Him talking about his win, really good, and just his struggles on Sundays and how he never thought he'd win. But he made a mad admission that he actually came out and said that there were times on Friday and Saturdays that he purposely didn't want to make birdies because he didn't want to get in the mix on a Sunday. Which is mental when you think, like, it's such
It is, yeah.
a mad admission. But the fear was in him that much. And when you think of what he's had to overcome on that win, like, it's just powerful to hear it. Like, it's frightening and powerful at the same time to hear a pro golfer talking like that. But he was purposely saying in his own head, do I want to hold this putt? Because if I do, I might be in the mix on Sunday, and we all know how that goes.
Sounds like you're a club golfer saying, God, do I want to hold this putt? I might get cut 0.3 here.
Yeah. No, I just found it frightening. But he's on a different stratosphere now, a different planet.
He is, and actually it goes back to what Padraig Harrington said over the weekend about trying to be a big fish in a small pond. Like, obviously Dietrich hadn't won on the DP World Tour either, but I'd imagine if he had stayed, he probably would have by now. Whereas he's gone to the PGA Tour, obviously a step up in level, and as you said there, he fears being in contention. Like, he's happy enough with his top 10. Whereas Harrington was always different, and I wanted to win at my level, dominate at my level, move up to the next one. Like, he never played above his station.
Yeah.
He always progressed through the levels, and he always said you have to lose to actually learn how to win. You should be not sort of enjoy losing, but actually embrace losing, embrace being in the mix. And obviously Dietrich until 2 weeks ago hadn't been.
Paddy gave a great interview to the Cookie Jar podcast. Did you see that? Did you listen to it?
Yeah, who ate all the pies, he said.
Yeah, no, but like...
No, I did listen
when he spoke about Rory's influence, or how Rory changed, like in talking about 2011 and going into Congressional, he was the best player in the world. In his head, I am the best player in the world, and I'm after winning 3 majors in the last couple of years. His stats in 2010 all pointed to him being like an unbelievable in contention. Played a practice round that week. I can't remember who he said he played a practice round with, and they basically said, like, went in, told everyone that would listen, Paddy's winning this week. I've played with him. His striking's off the charts. Where he's at mentally, his game is in a perfect place. He's going to be such a hard man to beat. And then Rory comes out and blows the field away. And Harrington just said that was the first time in his career that he has ever felt inferior to another golfer in that way. Which is a mad thing to be faced with. He said, like, he had reached his peak age-wise, and he said, like, I can't get any better. And this is what Rory McIlroy is serving up in 2011, and I'm nowhere near that. Yeah. And for the first time in his career, he said his attention was always on him going in to any golf tournament. He'd never look over his shoulder. It's always what's ahead of you. What can I go by? What can I go by? And Rory McIlroy made him look over his shoulder, and he said it just hasn't been the same since.
Yeah, it's funny, like, because I think Rory obviously stood out back then, whereas within the next 10, 15 years since then, there's so many more Rory McIlroys, and none of them actually kind of stand out in that regard. Because what McIlroy did at that US Open is still, like, really memorable, because he just, like, bullied the course into submission. Not so much like Bryson, where he was overpowering the golf course, but just the aggression that McIlroy played with that week was, I think, definitely something that if you're Harrington, you're going to be thinking there's a new level here.
Yeah, it's like, it was just anyone that hasn't listened to that, definitely look for the Cookie Jar podcast with Harrington. It's so good.
But it's interesting to see as well with Rory, like, she was chasing speed after what Bryson came out on tour and started doing, and then the Netflix Full Swing, the season 2 last year, he was saying my technique's no longer good enough to win. So, like, it's actually swings and roundabouts in that regard. Like, McIlroy's already been to the point where he's thinking, like, am I actually a level below now? Can I get any better than what I am? Yeah.
You mentioned Full Swing already. That's out this week. I've watched it all over the weekend. I'll give a few little things later on the pod on it, but yeah, not for me.
Not for me, Bill.
Not for me, Bill. Sorry. Yeah, it's a cod. Netflix is a cod. Yeah, so you don't think we're peaking too soon? The Ludwig's going to make... Do we start fecking around with the American team at this stage? We're that good. Do we take a, like, I know the Irish rugby team at the weekend gave Wales enough ammo to kick on and do what they wanted, you know. Could we beat them with 12 men? Could we beat them with 10 men?
Like, we beat the USA with 9 men.
No, but Ludwig's going to make that Ryder Cup team anyway.
Of course he is, yeah.
So why not let Maverick McNeely beat you and let him get on the team, and there's 2 points for Europe straight away. We need to think out like this.
You owe the Mav an apology.
I don't owe Maverick McNeely an apology. But we need to be balancing this.
I think you're just surprised that I'm optimistic about these things. I'm very not negative, but steady on about these kind of things.
Well, I tell you, you've brought up Full Swing and stuff like that. Like the very last, so there's 7 episodes in it. The very last scene in the last episode is mind blowing that they allowed it to get on camera from next year's Ryder Cup captain Keegan Bradley. Like bonkers. You would just never see it from a European captain, in my opinion. Yeah, crazy. I'm not gonna give any spoilers or do anything like that, but you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. But yeah, right. Where do we go from this? This week's PGA Tour event.
Yeah, it was an absolute choke fest at the best of times. I felt like Brian Campbell obviously winning. He got probably the biggest slice of luck. I mean, I've
never seen this in a playoff.
I mean, this is destined, out of bounds, done, dead. Like,
by 50 yards.
Like Pogacar could just chip it along the fairway.
Yeah, it was a sideline cut job, like.
And yeah, he just
kicks off the tree. Not only kicks off the tree, bounces off the cart path and goes further in play.
Yeah,
and leaves himself.
He only had a wedge.
Yeah, like it was crazy. No, well, he hit a 3-wood to leave himself a wedge.
That's what I mean.
To get up there, but like just bananas. You get a slice of luck like that, you know it's your day. Like he's given up 40 yards all day. He's coming into, and he is someone that you could tar with the Ludwig brush that you were saying. Like this is a notorious doesn't show up when he's in the mix, man. Hasn't had his card in a number of years. Got it initially in 2016, lost it again. Has gone through the struggles on the web.com tour or whatever it's called now.
Hasn't been called web.com for years.
Sorry, yeah, I'm showing me age there now, yeah. The Hooters tour, whatever it's called. What's it called now?
Corn Ferry, there
we go. So, yeah, like, he's just gone through trials, tribulations, all that, everything in his career, and then to come out and produce what he did. But, like, who he's up against, I can't even pronounce.
Aldrich Pogacar.
Right?
Beat Alex McGuire in the
we just
2022
call him AP, right? We're shortening him to AP just to make it easier.
AP. Beat Alex McGuire in the 2022 Amateur Championship semi-final.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Oh, he's a good player.
Yeah.
Jeez, he hits it an awful
He could have won, actually, and he probably should have won at the DP World Tour in South Africa. It's kind of in the before Christmas. Again, I think he actually had some short game struggles that day. He could have been with the putter, but some of his chipping last night, like, wow.
It was shocking.
And, like, these aren't difficult chips.
No, it was shocking. He was driving the ball, like, just, like, firing it past. So, with 60-degree wedge, and then when he wasn't getting it right, like, in the playoff hole, was it the first playoff hole? Where he had, like, he hit the snap hook.
Yeah.
And then he ends up, like, he got away with that one. Yeah. I would blame his caddy, though. I honestly would blame his caddy. He should have won that tournament.
Yeah.
He was left 206 yards.
But he had the length to birdie the playoff hole. You know,
every time in his sleep.
Yeah.
He should have, but he missed the green every time. But on the playoff hole that he lost it on, to put it into that front bunker was an absolute sin. When you listen back to his caddy talking to him, going through cover numbers, going through this, you have to draw it, you have to do this. He buttoned that. He must have only been hitting a 7-iron.
Yeah.
6-iron. I don't know what he was hitting, but yeah, just a cardinal error to do that. And then his caddy gave him a line on the putt coming back down, and it was like blatantly brutal. Were you watching it? Like he said,
I was long in bed at that stage.
Has to peel to the right, and it just stayed straight. If anything, it went right to left. Like, and I was just thinking, because you could hear the caddy talking, and yeah, like he's a big unit. He's a big man. He will be. He'll do well.
He'll be good. Yeah,
he will be good because he has the length and he has the. Like, he has shots in him. He'll work on his short game. Like, surely his short game isn't like that all the time.
No, but it was just pressure.
To have so many bad chips and pitches throughout the final round and still to get a playoff just shows how good he actually is ball striking wise.
And putting wise, in fairness, he won the front 9. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
he hit some terrible chips, but did manage to save himself with the putter. But just looking down through the leaderboard, definitely one that got away for Aaron Rye. Just great to see Joel Damon back at the leaderboard. It's some crack watching him play. And then like the whole guards, whether it's Nikolai or Rasmus, if it's like a non-signature event, they're always up there. Just feels like they're always there or thereabouts. But other than that, not really much to write home about there. Like it was one of those really dead events. When you look at the field, I'd be surprised if anybody can, genuinely take any sort of recognition with maybe 8 of the top 20.
Yeah,
and that's not being smart or nothing like.
No, but for Campbell, it's life changing. Like,
it is. Yeah, He's only won $1.4 million in his entire career, and he won 1.2 last night. I mean, that's genuine, life changing stuff. Into all the big events this year now, into all the signature events. All the signature events, the Players, PGA Championship, and the Masters. And if Mark McGowan's listening, he absolutely 100% deserves his place in the Masters. 2 year, but this is another. No, don't get me going on that. Like, I think that's wrong. It's far too easy to advance yourself, isn't it? From the States, like, why does he I don't want to even bite on that. I don't want to bite on that. Like we'll move on from that. But yeah, he was 172nd in the world. Moves well up. Now it's opportunity knocks for the next season anyway, into all the Siggies, into all the big events. So yeah, more power to him. Fair play. Nice to see guys like that, like late bloomers like that have been through an awful lot. Actually, it's a good storyline. What definitely. We were talking about before on guys on the cut line, guys making it through. It is a good storyline. So yeah, your man, the amateur guy, he's signed a Nike. Yeah, actually, my guy, your guy, Luke Clanton. Luke, he's going to go far. He's in this week as well. He's got an invite in this week. So all he needs to do is make a cut and he's done. Is there a cut this week? We're in the Honda, isn't it? Cognizant Classic. The Honda Classic. I got mixed up between that and the Zurich Classic. I was like, there's a cut for a team event. Yeah. Well, PGA National. So if he makes the cut, like, they should really put a load of coverage on him trying to make the cut, because they will. There's a good chance it'll be more interesting than he was winning. No, they will. No, but anyway, jogging on from that, where do we go from this? Lots of Irish good news stories in the last week. There was, actually, and obviously not on any of the main tours, but just a shout out to the boys on the Alps Tour with 2 lads in the top 10. Ronan Mullarney, who won the Order of Merit there in 2023. He's back on it after a year on the Challenge Tour. He came second. Hugh Foley, first pro start, was 10th. And then John Murphy made his first cut since July of last year, and just his 6th cut in 2.5 years at this stage. And considering he opened up with a 74, you're thinking, oh God, like, he's had a DP World Tour card 2 years ago, and now he's opened with a 74 on the Alps Tour, and he came roaring back with a 67 on day 2 to make the cut. And more power to him. Like, just hope it's something that can kick him in the right direction and he can start climbing the golfing pyramid again. You spoke to him afterwards? I actually spoke to him leading up to the event, and he was telling me about, all the rabbit holes he'd been putting himself down, and the harder he tried, the worse it got. I mean, he was showing up to events and whatever swing I find on the driving range is the swing I'm going to use today. Standing up at the first tee, if I feel this, I'm going to go with that for the day. I mean, hitting drivers off the deck because he wasn't comfortable with his technique and teeing it up. I mean, it's just bonkers stuff. It's mad, isn't it? It's just such a tough place to be. Like, when it's not fire and it's not happening and you're literally questioning everything, like questioning the air you're breathing in on a golf course. It's just not a nice place to be. And it can absolutely frazzle you, can totally destroy you. You look at Paul Dunn, derailed. Yeah, but I'm delighted for him, because whenever me or you have been around him, he's always been unbelievably pleasant. He's such a nice fella. Even though he's going through turmoil on the golf course. Yeah, but even after bad rounds, you catch up with him at any event. You'd be smiling at you, 100%. Yeah. Such a really, he's a credit to golf. He's a credit to us to have as a professional golfer. Like most of the lads out there are, but Murph is one of them lads that you want to see. And he had everything he wants now, he has had before. So he knows it's attainable and he knows he can do it. It's just, like you say, working your way back up that pyramid again. Yeah, because he had such a good start to his pro career. He won somewhere on his first start. Then he was top 10 at the Dunhill Links on the European Tour. and it's just so much promise early doors, and got his card, and from there it's just been an eternal struggle.
Yeah, took invites to the PGA Tour that time and everything. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Didn't he play AT&T? He played with Seamus Power.
Yeah, played the AT&T, and he played the Byron Nelson
From an amateur event that he'd won.
Yeah.
He had a status that. No, it's great. Like, yeah, no, listen, he will kick on back. There I go. I got my first kick on.
I'm backing you on this one, though.
Who else has featured well then?
Leon Maguire had a decent week, kind of in and out, but top 33 kind of puts her back on the straight and narrow, and she's playing in Singapore this week. So I think it's just been it's good to see her just putting in solid performances early doors. Like, nothing too spectacular, but there's plenty of good golf. Shot in the 60s a good few times so far. So I'd be enthusiastic about that. And then Sarah Byrne gets underway at the Epsom Tour this week. She has a Ladies European Tour card, but she also got an Epsom card from LPGA school, and she views that as a better route to the LPGA Tour, which is where she wants to be. Top 10 the order of merit get cards, and then I think 10 to 20 odd gets some sort of status in the LPGA, and then top 35 gets automatic into the final stage of Q school. So hopefully she can go well there. But like, other than that, like, it was not really much to write home about. Disappointing on the DP World Tour. Connor Purcell, Dermot McElroy missing the cut in Kenya. Four missed cut in 6 starts for Purcell, and McElroy just didn't really take his opportunity. But I don't know, you worried for Purcell? I'm not too worried.
I'm not worried, because I know when he gets back to this side of the hemisphere and he's in enough events, it's early in the season, he's played a lot of golf, like, he hasn't really had much of a break. They're quirky courses down there. They're I know he's played well in the Australian events in the past, down around the Sandbelt and stuff like that, but yeah, I'll judge it more when he gets back to Europe. I'd be worried if it was July.
Yeah.
And we were having this, but I think he's loads of scope, loads of time. Yeah, no panicking from me yet, because we know he's a baller, and we know once he gets in his comfort zone, he's into some big events this year in the European Tour as well. So he will make hay. Like places like the K Club, Irish Open at the K Club, he is like ripe for a good finish there. When we had his first pro win was in our Irish golfer shootout during lockdown. And that course was set up as close to Ryder Cup as possible. Jerry Byrne had the place absolutely class. Made the pins were exactly the same, tee boxes, the greens were running at the same speed. Had an unbelievable condition, and I think he shot 6 under 66 and won by 2 or 3 shots. Like, he was just unbelievable at that time, and it's a course he really likes. So yeah, I'd definitely be looking at him. Early prices for the Irish Open each way.
You're putting all your eggs in that basket.
Don't be taking betting advice from me now, because I know lads were coming back a few weeks ago on my Harris English for the US Open, get him each way. I actually got screen grabs from people that have backed him.
Really?
Yeah.
Not a bad shout though. Like,
yeah, I know it's not, but
we'll actually probably we'll obviously come back to it around US Open time.
Yeah.
But Harris English isn't a bad shout.
Yeah, each way, 125s. Take a nip. But yeah, no, it is. So yeah, I'm not worried about Purcell, to get back to your original point. Any of the others do anything this week? Oh, from an Irish point of view?
From an Irish point of view, no, the Alps Tour was kind of the highlight. There was a bit of amateur news. We had a couple of top 10s at the Spanish Amateur, and Sean Keeling secured the highest finish of his freshman year at Texas Tech. Final round 69, saw him claim 4th place at the Prestige Individual. The college scene hasn't really sort of kicked into gear for the Irish this year. I don't know what it is, whether it's just numbers wise or just the results haven't been as eye-catching as, because we had Max Kennedy and Sarah Byrne the last few years. But Sean seems to be settling pretty well. Like, to get a 4th place finish so early on is very encouraging.
We have the launch of the West tomorrow as well.
Launch of the West. Mark has questions to answer when he goes up there.
Let's not talk about that. But yeah, no, launch the West. It's always started a golfing season really when you've West and before the Masters, and leading into that, it's just class. Yeah,
it's only just over a month away. Like, it's never long coming round. Like, I was talking to David Connellan, who obviously works up there, and we were talking about the West and thinking, like, once it gets started, it's just going to be a snowball up until October time again.
Yeah, no, it's bonkers. But right, let's get stuck into a couple of other things. Live PGA Tour. What do you think of these statements coming out? I'm sick of them now at this stage. That last week, Tiger, Adam Scott and Jay Monaghan went and met President Trump in the White House. I don't know what the hold up is with all this. Why just get a deal done, and stop drip feeding us statements of, we've just concluded a conversation and a working session in the White House with, and they're all meeting in one room, with Yasser and Tiger and all happy families, and I can't see them coming to an agreement that's going to make things whole even for next year. I think it's going to be such a long-term thing. When you see Live Golf Adelaide signing a 5-year deal with hosting their events down there, and then
they're definitely looking for some sort of, I suppose, combination. Or what was the word called? Reunification, I think is the buzz term now. But it's funny, the last couple of days, I've heard about, I think Adam Scott saying, not everybody's going to be on board with this or, happy with the deal. And I'm starting to think, well, what does that mean?
Well, I think what he means is how imminent some of it is. I know, I'm fully expecting from reports or rumours that I'm hearing that for the Players' Championship, Live players are going to be back in.
Yeah, because McGinley said
it's only 2 weeks away.
McGinley expects a deal to be announced before the Masters.
Yeah, so I think within the next 2 weeks we're going to have, so you'll have Bryson and Cam and guys like that, Ram, Hatton, all eligible to go and play Players' Championship. Now that will be spectacular if they do that.
What you just mentioned it there, because I thought you were going to say McKibben and I was going to shut you down. But I'm just wondering, from that actual point of view where the Live players are welcome back. I
never actually thought of McKibben, yeah.
But from the point of view where obviously Live players are going to be back on the PGA Tour, and you're talking about the Players, which is, a limited field event, ironically. Where does the likes of McKibben get in, given his world ranking when he actually moved to Live, and given that, he has only one major championship exemption up to now? There's no real legacy behind him for him to fall back on compared to what a Ram has, even a Tyrrell Hatton has, that kind of way. Yeah,
well, they don't care about Tom McKibben. They literally don't. They'll make rules for your John Rams and Brysons. All they want is Bryson in any field they can get him into. And unfortunately for them, if you let one in, you have to do a criteria for them all. So Cam would get in as a past champion, and Tyrrell would get in as a past Siggy winner and stuff like that, and winning the Bay Hill and big events like that. So yeah, interesting times. But yeah, I something is imminent, but I don't think they quite need this drip of. No,
it's gone boring again. It's almost like when Liv actually came to fruition, people were just bored of all the talk about who's signing and all the money talk. I think people are back at square one now in this regard. I'm just sick of it now. I'm sick of all the drip feeding, as you said.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same boat. And then, between that and then the TGL stuff as well, is TGL dead to you now? Have you watched any of it in the last couple of weeks?
No, and I can't remember the last time I watched it, and I can't even remember who was playing.
They changed the hammer rules last week. They're for 3 matches, you're just nodding your head going, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
it's irrelevant.
Even though there was plenty of highlight reels. I know that McIlroy and Larry played each other, and when I saw the notification that they were playing, that just went right over my head. I was like, all right.
They were actually good matches. I enjoyed them. I watched them. I watched some of them live, and I watched some of them not live. They were good matches, and they've got closer now. There's a bit of jeopardy in them. The new hammer rules do actually work, that lads can't hog the hammer. The week I was there was just so boring. But at least they've changed it. They're looking to evolve it, and I think it will get to a product. But it's hard for us to give a shit about things that the players playing in it don't seem to give a crap about it. When you see, in the last week, so LAGC are playing tonight, actually, Monday night. They're playing a match, and both Justin Rose and Tommy Fleetwood had pre-existing commitments, so they've drafted in Tony Finau. So, the players that are signed up for these teams and that they pin up and say, these are the dates, these are the fixtures, how can two of your team have pre-existing commitments when you've announced this. Like, so
there's hair to be washed.
Yeah. But like when it's
not a good look.
It's not a good look. No, there's a bang of want off this now at this stage, but it's I find it hard to get my head around it in any sort of way now, and just get bought into it. Maybe when they get to the playoffs and they have a final, and but like Tiger's team are gone, Boston Common with Rory's team are gone.
Yeah, like, that's it. Like it's hard to keep any sort of interest. Then if Larry gets to the final, I'll probably watch it.
Yeah, no.
Even they know the triple header last week, and wasn't it last week the triple header?
Yeah,
it just
they've another one this week.
It just didn't interest me at all.
Yeah. No, it's we won't waste too much time on TGL. Right, anything else to bring up?
The world rankings, John Rahm outside the top 50 now.
How
about that?
Yeah.
First time since he won the Farmers Insurance 2017 that he's outside it.
Do you look at world rankings anymore? They're kind of irrelevant. They're irrelevant to him.
They're relevant to him, yeah.
So does he give a crap? I don't use world rankings for it anymore.
Yeah, you're on the live side of it then.
No, but like they are kind of irrelevant, and it's their own fault. They've ignored stuff. It needs to be redone. Like, it's not only that, it's when they redid the world rankings to have such a weight on the PGA Tour and totally feck over it and this side of the Atlantic with points and with qualification and how you get into things and what points a win is worth here compared to over there and weight of field stuff. It's just so weighted towards the PGA Tour, and they let it go through. It's coming home to roost now. We get very few Tom McKibbins, is what I'm trying to say, that actually get onto the tour and actually are allowed that succession on. You know, it's just the world rankings are dead.
They're not dead though.
They are. No, they are. They need to make some changes. Well, why do you not think they're dead?
Well, because there's still merit in like being in top 100, being in the top 50. Like if you're an up and coming player, it's still going to be life changing. Why should you? I suppose suffer because a load of people took the money. 20
lads wants to go out and get a payday.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like you're looking at Seamus Power. The next step for him getting back up is to get back into the top 100. He gets himself a PGA Championship exemption as well. Like there's lots. I think there's still lots to play for, and I like looking down around the 70 odd to around 100 and seeing all loads of young players. Like you got Luke Clanton, an amateur, top 100 in the world. I think that's interesting. Like there's merit to that.
There is merit to that. No, I agree with you on that. But it's they need to work something out that just includes in some element the players that did go to live. Like John Rahm should not be the 50th ranked player in the world. Now it's irrelevant because he has exemptions.
I get now if you want to be literal about it and say this guy is not the 124th ranked player in the world. And I also do think that it's maybe a bit too easy to move up the world rankings. You get one win and you're flying.
Man, this week 172nd in the world before the week. He's well into the top 100 now after winning
97th.
Yeah, after winning by all accounts a shite PGA Tour event.
Yeah, it was one of the worst.
Do you know, and so our man now, from not doing any damage in since 2016-17, struggling, wins this event, and because it's on the PGA Tour, he's inside the world's top 100. So you're telling me that the work that he has done over the last number of years is better than the work Tom McKibbin was doing in Europe before he moved to live? I'm not buying it.
No, definitely not.
That's what the world rankings say.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you from that point of view as well.
Yeah. Rant over.
Rant over. Yeah.
Rant over.
You'd be happy enough if you got in there via 5 top 10s.
Yeah. Rant over. No, on the full swing thing, we're 34 minutes. I don't think there's much else to go through, but full swing is out this week. Not going to give any spoilers on it, but anyone that wants to tune out can tune out now if you don't want to hear about full swing or
you're not a fan.
Anything on it. It's not that I'm not a fan. It's actually good. I watched it with my wife over the weekend. I think it's live tomorrow. She's not into golf at all. She actually enjoyed some elements of it. Some of it's good. Some of it's very bad. Like they made the President's Cup look like it's the Ballon d'Or at one stage. That's how they were struggling for content. Like there's nearly a full episode.
Are you saying the President's Cup isn't a major tournament?
the President's Cup. Like, I'd watch the Challenge Tour stuff. Better golf.
President's Cup or Africa Cup of Nations?
Africa Cup of Nations.
You tell Carragher that.
Yeah. I'm just saying. The President's Cup's a cod.
Oh.
It is. Like, there's no jeopardy to it at all. Like, they're like, even, yeah, I'm not even going to get into it now. It's just, they just...
They wipe the floor at the internationals every year.
They do. Like, it's just not the same. There's no dynamic.
It's like a Leinster
on the
Championship.
international team. Yeah, that's what it's like. It is like that.
Not this year, though.
It is. Oh, stop. Don't even go there. So Kildare are going to boss Division 3.
Robbie Brennan's Tricky Royals going up.
But no, it's like it opens up with a good Neil Shipley thing. It goes a little bit behind the scenes. I'm interested in that, like nice bits with Rory and Shane in New Orleans, and in the sort of second episode there is some good McIlroy stuff in there. Shane comes across as very protective of Rory, exactly what we went into last year around New Orleans, around how good it was for both of those players, as in Shane needs Rory for totally different ways than Rory needs Shane, and how comfortable they are around each other. They make a lot of that, and it's a good episode, and you do get some extra bits. They mix that in with the Canadian lads trying to make the Olympics, and trying to make the President's Cup team as well, like with Hadwin. And
you said there off before we recorded that you said it wasn't as good as the other two seasons. And what you described there's a lot of more, I suppose, you're not really the headline acts, I suppose. There's more like sort of around the periphery, doing players on the periphery, like Shipley, like, you know, an amateur going through the ranks. The Canadians trying to make the...
Min Woo Lee. They do a lot with Min Woo because he's a big following on social.
Yeah, but are you underwhelmed because it isn't like it was before with sort of the big name stars, like, you know, like a story like a Koepka?
No, I'm a little bit. So, like, they've got influencers involved now. They've Paige Spiranak doing stuff in there. They've some other golf influencers from the States that I don't know. There's way too much Dan Rappaport, who I think is a spanner.
We're getting sued.
No, but you know what I mean. I just don't. It's hung off the wrong things for me. Some elements of it is really, really good. Like they did some really good stuff with Gary Woodland on what he's gone through, and actually following him to hospital, doing scans and brain scans and getting stuff like that, and talk about his journey back. That's interesting. The stuff we spoke about last week and Harrington spoke about a few weeks ago on like the cut line and Monday qualifiers, that's interesting. But they dumb it down a bit too much. And yeah, so you get a bit of Wyndham Clark again. You get Min Woo. There's some good.
Do we want Wyndham Clark?
But that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of guys. You know, Justin Thomas is throughout this as well. Scotty Scheffler is on it. Like, yeah, the stuff of him getting arrested and all. But there's nothing new around that. You know,
that's because I think me and you, and even like the, you know, regular golf fan already sort of knows what goes on and what happens. They're just getting to actually see it happen, if you get me.
Yeah.
Whereas the casual fan or somebody who just knows the personalities but actually doesn't really know what goes on in the game and doesn't watch it might find that entertaining.
A lot of wives involved in it. A lot of players' wives involved in it.
Wags.
Yeah, but there's a lot of that involved. But you get a different opinion, a different point of view, I suppose, from that. But yeah, it just, I don't know, for me, Full Swing just doesn't have a purpose with golf. It's different. The F1 one is different, like, because it there's an overall, there's an end game to every episode, or it tells a story, where Full Swing with golf is very, it starts off with an amateur at the Masters, and then it might flick forward doing something with Scotty Scheffler in his year, and there's a bit in the Tour Championship, and then it's back to the New Orleans with the team lads, and then it's going back again. There's too much jumping around, and they're trying to explain what this tournament is and how you qualify for this and what the FedEx Cup is, and you're just going like...
So it's I suppose the episodes aren't in chronological order.
Not in that sort of way, no. They jump back and forward a bit. They try to be, but there's a lot of jumping back and forward. So, it's a little bit structuralist for me. But, you know, I purposely, my wife no interest in golf. And she said she'd watch it, and we watched all 7 episodes, and she probably enjoyed it more than I did. So that's probably what it's for. Same as TGL. When I'm hammering TGL, I'm a traditionalist.
Yeah.
You know, it's not for me. You know, and even when players are doing that, like at one stage in it, like you've Gary Woodland walking up in a fairway, he's mic'd up and all, he's gone up to Justin Thomas, hey, how are you? And he's like, oh, just letting you know I'm mic'd up. Like, and he just goes, oh, hi kids. Just walks off. So you know, they know what they're at. But it's yeah, I'm not going to say don't watch it, but the juice is more to squeeze for me.
Out of 10?
6.
Ooh. Higher than I thought you'd give it, actually. I thought you'd give it 5.
No, like it's some content in it's good, but like 6, yeah. 6, you learn damn all that you didn't know before, so take from that what you will.
So not as good as Drive to Survive, but better than the Six Nations.
The Six, yeah, I don't even get me going on rugby. You nearly got it. You nearly got a soundbite on me there. Don't do rugby.
Don't do rugby.
Right, on to the heroes and villains, I suppose. Do you even have heroes and villains? I don't.
I don't know.
No? Right, we'll just skip heroes and villains for this week. It's grand. I think that's a wrap for this week.
That is a wrap.
That is a wrap. There wasn't much going on. We've plenty to get stuck into over the next week to 2 weeks as well. We'll be back to business.
This weekend felt very, very January. I was sort of looking around like, where is the Challenge Tour?
Yeah.
Where is Liam Nolan? Where is Max Kennedy? Where is sort of the good news stories? Because it's funny, the alternative weeks of signature events, like 3 or 4 years on now from when they came in, they're still as dead as dishwater.
Yeah. There's no reason to tune into them. That's it, because the big boys just go on holidays for the week. And
Shane Lowry, Seamus Power playing this week.
Yeah, no, Lowry, sure, it's right beside where he lives. Lowry, it's and he likes the Honda Classic.
It's the Cognizant Classic.
The Cognizant Classic. Sorry.
Get a grip.
Sorry, it's not my fault. J-Mon has sold out.
Can't say Honda anymore.
Can't keep a I'll keep saying Honda. They're the legacy sponsors of this event, and I'll keep saying Web.com as well.
You have to say Farmers Insurance next year.
Farmers Insurance, yeah. Oh, but no, it's I'm looking forward. We're getting into the meat and drink of the season now. It starts to get exciting. I'm sure you're getting excited. Masters only around the corner as well.
It's going to get so good. From next week, Puerto Rico Open is not to be slept on. And then you've got the Arnold Palmer Invitational, the Players, and then you're just rounding up towards the Masters then. Yeah, no, it's class. It is class. And the weather there's a bit of a stretch in the evenings. We've been dumped on rain-wise for the last few days, but we're getting there. Summer golf is on the way. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Right. But still, even though there is light at the end of the tunnel, there's a stretch in the evenings. Visit flowgas.ie to get your energy needs sorted. We still need electricity and heat. But thanks to them for sponsoring the podcast. And we'll be back again next week. If you haven't checked out our Irish Golfer Top 100 rankings that came out last week as well, always good for sparking debate. Tough thing to do, to put a list of 100 courses in order, but yeah, we gave it a go, and that's all it's to do, is incite a bit of a debate and get people talking about all the great courses that we have. So do check that out on the website, and all your other golf news available on irishgolfer.ie. From me, Pete, and from Ronan, thanks a million for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.